Good afternoon, everyone. Myself Kavita from NSTI W Bangalore. So today's topic, you all know, the expansion joints. It's a part of building construction. So the learning outcome of this session. So what you will learn in the session is what is expansion joints, what is the need for expansion joints, what are the materials used for expansion joints, and what are the treatment methods of expansion joints. This class is very simple. Everybody know what is a joint, right? It can be even your human body. Why is joints necessary? For easy movement. So here also expansion joints is required in buildings for easy movement of the structure. So to understand, it is very basic, and it is very easy to understand seeing the pictures. I have a lot of pictures for you today, so you can understand it easily. The first one is an expansion joint is a gap in the building structure provided by an architect or engineer to allow for the movement of the building due to temperature changes. So it is just the gap. So expansion joint is nothing but when you have a long building, more than 25 to 30 meters in long of a building, the strength will, what happens is the more longer, when you have earthquakes and all, there are chances for it to crack. So to avoid the cracks, you are going to give a small gap between the entire structure. So expansion joint is nothing but the gap between the building structure. It will be the same building. For example, if it's a college, especially it is given where buildings are very long. So if you have a college which is say 30 to 40 meters long, in that kind of buildings, you have to give an expansion joint in between so that the continuation will break and it will be flexible if there's any earthquakes or if there is any soil settlement under the ground. Say for example, there is some soil erosion or something, that time the building will not crack abruptly. So it will have this gap for it to move. The expansion joint is an assembly designed to safely absorb the heat-induced expansion and contraction of various construction materials. So when there is heat, excess heat, if you see your doors, main doors only, in summer it will be very loose to open and close, and in winters if you see it will be very tight. Why is it? Because the tendency of wood is it will contract in summer and it will expand in winters or rainy season, and it will get tight. So these expansion will happen in buildings also. Though cement and mortar we are using, reinforcement we are using, still there is a slight movement in these materials also. So to give that space, we have to give this gap so that it will have a better movement in the structure. The next is why an expansion joint is provided. The primary reason to provide expansion joint is to allow for the thermal movement of the building between this joint so that energy due to thermal stresses are dissipated in this gap, thereby avoiding cracks occurring in the building. So if you see in brick masonry, we tell you that joint should not be straight. So here if you see in each course, you would have studied in brick masonry, every course will have joints alternatively so that the crack will not happen. But in spite of providing this, when there is a thermal movement in the building, chances of it to crack like this can happen. When you have a longer length, it's like simple, you're having a long stick. When you try to bend it, it is easy to bend. But if you have a short stick, it will be a little tighter to bend. So similarly, giving that gap will help these cracks to avoid. So next is what is the need of expansion joint? First is concrete is not an elastic substance and therefore it does not bend or stretch without failure. So since it is very hard, if there is a slight movement or slight bending that is required, it will fail and it will crack. However, concrete moves during expansion and shrinkage. So concrete can move, but it cannot stretch or bend, due to which the structural element shifts slightly. To prevent harmful effects due to concrete movement, several expansion joints are incorporated in concrete construction, including foundation, walls, roof expansion joints, and paving slabs. So where all expansion is required, the complete building will be separated, including your foundation, including your wall, including your roof, and including your paving slabs. These joints need to be carefully designed, located, and installed. So if you don't design it, for example, you're giving it in a short building, then the gap will be useless. And you have to carefully cover the gaps also. I'll show you the different materials and the location where you're locating. You cannot locate where toilets are there, where dampness is there. So all that you have to consider carefully. If a slab is positioned continuously on surface exceeding one face, an expansion joint will be necessary to reduce the stress. So if you have a continuous slab, for example, say you have some 100 meters of slab that you have to construct, you cannot continuously lay in one day. So again, you have to give a gap for it so that you can exceed the next day also. So for that also, you can give expansion joints. Next, concrete sealer may be used for filling the gaps produced by cracks. So I showed you here these cracks. So you can use concrete sealers to cover this gap so that the water or any dust particles or anything will not enter into the building and make it weak. So this is the need of expansion. Next, what is the characteristics of expansion joints? So expansion joints permit thermal contraction and expansion without inducing stresses into the element. So it will allow the thermal contraction. Again, I told it is like compressing and expansion is expanding. So when this is permitted in the building, the concrete structure will have less stress on itself. An expansion joint is designed to absorb safely the expansion and contraction of several construction material, absorb vibration, and permit soil movement due to earthquakes or ground settlement. A good example for this point is like your flyovers. Flyovers normally it is a built one. So when you're building it, normally lot of vehicles will be going on. There will be vibration in the buildings, vibration in the flyover. So to avoid that, if you see, there will be twin column given at some portion, and you will have a plate on the top of the surface. So the entire bridge will be divided into two parts, and they will give a slight connection so that it will have movement. So for that movement to absorb that vibration, you have to give expansion joint carefully. Next, the expansion joints are normally located between sections of bridges, paving slabs, railway tracks, and piping systems. So where it is more used is in the bridges, because the length of the bridge is going to be very long. Paving slabs, where you're having continuation of slabs in the paving. Like even in concrete, these days almost all the roads are having which is of concrete. So you cannot lay in continuation also, because you have to give some gap, or say per day you can lay up to say half kilometer or 1 kilometer. So to avoid that also, and also to avoid the vibrations from the vehicles, there also you require expansion joints. So paving slabs, railway tracks, obviously because the vibration in the train is going to be very much. So at every length, at particular length, at 20 meters or 30 meters, you have to give an expansion joint so that the vibration is reduced. And piping system, obviously, because the pipe length is not continuous, you will get around say max around 8 to 10 feet or 12 feet. After that, you have to give a joint, or you have to give a collar for it to join it. So these are normally located here. In buildings, it is located where you have the length of the building more, or where you have a T-junction of a structure. The expansion joints are incorporated to endure the stress. So when there is stress in the building due to heat, due to earthquakes, or due to soil movement in the underground, or due to vibration in the building. In fact, if you see in some new movies and all, you would have seen when a train is moving, nearby houses will be shivering, right? So it will be shaking. Why does it shake? Because of the vibration. Similarly, when there is movement in the structure, you will have slight vibrations. So to avoid that stress again on the structure, you will provide the expansion joints. An expansion joint is simply a disconnection between segments of same material. So you're just disconnecting it. You're not joining it at any portion. If you have a complete building, you will just disconnect by giving a slight gap so that that movement of the building will be allowed. In concrete block construction, the expansion joints are expressed as control joints. So in concrete construction, you can call the expansion joint as control joints also. You can note these points because in your MCQ, your exam is going to be almost an MCQ pattern. So in that ways, control joints is also called as dash. So questions can come like that also. So you can just note few points wherever necessary. So expansion joints is called as control joints. So these are the characteristics of expansion joint. So first we saw what is expansion joint. Then we saw what is the need of expansion joint. Third, we saw what is characteristics of expansion joint. And next we'll see what are the materials and techniques of expansion joint. So these are the materials. The gap of expansion joint is never left open. Though we are giving a gap in the buildings, it will never be left with a gap. It is filled with a compressible material so as to make it watertight. Because with the gap, if you're pouring water, again, that gap nobody can go because that gap will be very small, 20 to 30 mm. So ants can go, dust can go, water logs can go. If it is raining again, all the water will be logged there. So to avoid that, you have to fill the gap. But what material will you fill? It should be flexible again. Because if there is a movement in the building, it should be flexible enough like an elastic so that the building also can have little bit of movement. So the following materials are required to render the expansion joint watertight. The first one is joint filler. So joint, again, you're filling the joint. So that is why it is joint filler. You can use bitumen. Bitumen containing cellular material, cork strips, rubber, mineral fiber, etc. are the usual joint filler materials. So for joint fillers, you can use any of this. I'll just show you cellular material. You see here, this is a cellular material. It will be little soft in nature and rubbery in nature. So this is cellular material. Normally in the expansion joint, they will give. Cork sheet, cork, again, you know what is cork. So it was little softer, which is given in bottles, right? So this is cork sheet, so it will keep it tight. And the other material is rubber mineral fiber. Again, these are used where depending on the buildings, again, not everywhere these sheets are used. Depending on the purpose, if for example, if you're saying you need for flyovers or say roads, the width of the expansion joint is more. So these thickness will vary. If you see cork sheet, it will be maximum 20 to 30 mm. This can be given in buildings only. But if you want for flyovers, you can use these kind of materials where the thickness is more. Again, this thickness also is more. So if depending on the thickness, you can use these materials. Joint filler should be compressible material, tightly fitted in the gap. So compressible means what? It should compress and expand. When you are putting pressure, it should, like a rubber band only, like a soft this one, like a sponge actually. but this will be little harder sponge. So when you're pressing, it should compress, and if you leave, it should come back to its shape. Being compressible, they readily allow free expansion of the adjacent parts. It should regain 75% of its original thickness when external pressure is removed from it. They should be rigid, durable, and resistant to decay. That is why these materials are used. So these materials are resistant to decay. Decay as in, with time what happens? It will become black, or it will start losing its property. So you have to make sure when you're using it will be for a longer time. Next one is, how do you fill the gap? Sealing compound. The first one is joint filler. The second one is sealing compound. It is, its function is to seal the joint against passage of moisture and to prevent the ingress of dust, grit, or other foreign matters into the joint. Dust everybody knows. Grit again is all the waste of the own materials and other foreign matters. For example, leaves can be there, sand can be there, or anything that is coming in the atmosphere. So that will not get into the joint. So for that you have to seal the joint. It should be tintless, non-toxic, insoluble, and readily workable. So material should be with this character. Mastic or hot applied bituminous sealing compound is mostly used for the purpose. So mastic asphalt is not hot applied bituminous sealing is nothing but your tar, what you use on the roads. So that tar can be melted and filled in this gap. Tar is again, it can be compressible material. So you will fill the gaps like this using a machine, or you'll get ready sealing compounds like this. This is more compressible. It is more elastic in nature. So but this is again expensive compared to a tar thing. So if you need a cheaper one, you can go for tar. Especially in roads, they use almost tar. And for buildings, they use this because this is more compressible. Okay. So this is sealing compound. One is joint filler. The other one is sealing compound. The third one is water bars. So what is water bar? The function bars are to seal the joint against passage of water. Water bars may be made of rubber, PVC, GI sheet, copper, or aluminium sheet. So these are the different materials that can be used for the water bar. GI water bar should not be used under corrosive condition. So GI is what? Your metal sheets. So those should not be used where continuous water is there. So you can use PVC or rubber. Mostly they use rubber sheets because it is easy and it is low in cost. Width of the water bar may be varied from 15 centimeter. Again, depending on the condition, the water bars will come in different sizes and different shapes. 15 to 20 centimeters, and thickness should not be less than 0.56. So minimum thickness for water bar is 0.56 mm. They are given U or V fold to allow expansion and contraction at the joints. So I'll just zoom this. So if you see here, this is a flooring that is flooring of pavement here. So if you see, this is one concrete construction. Now again they have to construct another concrete. So if you see, this is the rubber which is 4 directions. So again the next slab when you are giving, you will connect this with it so that the water will not go inside the flooring and it will not disturb. So when 2 slabs are there in continuation, say this they have laid. When they want to lay the next slab, say tomorrow or next week or even next month, this will help in holding it tight. So waterlog will not be there. And where concrete walls are there, when you have concrete walls, you will get framework for it, right? The scaffoldings. So that framework, shuttering you call it. So that shuttering are fixed size. So when you have breaks in it, you give these water bars and then fill the concrete so that the water is not going in that gap. So at every floor, at every step, you have to give this water bar. So inside, before laying the concrete itself, they will embed in the metal. When they are doing the metal work or your reinforcement, during that time only they'll give this water bars and they will then lay the concrete so that it will have a water tight. So this is water bar. Again, this gap will be filled by a sealant. So later stage again, that is the final one. So nowhere this gap will be left open. So this is again another water bar where you have a level difference. So there you can see if you have too many junctions, so they give water bars like this. You have one wall here, undulation kind. So you have different materials in the market depending on the construction type. Next we'll see is the treatment methods for expansion joints in various elements. So one, we saw all the materials. So I'll just revise. So first one material was joint filler. It can be cellular material, it can be cork sheet, it can be rubber mineral. So or any new materials that comes in the market which is compressible, you can use that. The other one where the top layer will be there, there you will use sealing compound. Either you will use mastic asphalt or you will use rubber. Sorry, this is like a ready-made sealing compound. And next is the water bars where your RCC construction is there. There you will use water bars. So next we'll see the treatment for various elements. First one is your wall. The joint in the wall are not left exposed. They are covered with covering sheets which may be of aluminium, hardboard, AC sheet or timber plank. Normally AC sheet is used to cover the joints. So when you have expansion joints in the walls, AC sheets are used or even aluminium composite panel sheets are also used. The covering sheet is fixed to the wall on one side of the joint with screws and on the other side by screws through oval shaped slots. So why oval shape? One side it will be with normal screws. Oval shape, what happens? It will let the movement of that cover. So if there is any movement in the building, that oval shaped slot will allow the screw to move or allow the sheet to move, so that it will have less stress on the buildings. So the oval slot permit movement at the joints without causing any damage to the covering. Expansion joint in the roof shall invariably be provided with joint filler and water bars. So I showed you what is joint filler and I've showed you what is water bar. So in roof, both will be used. Joints in floors shall be invariably sealed to prevent accumulation of dirt, dust and therein. Floor again I've showed here. So that the dust will not go in, sealing compound will be used. So this is where when you have a T wall, so this is in plan, one wall like this and one wall like this, and you have a straight wall here where your T blocks junction will come. So similar like this. So you are using a joint filler here. It can be rubber sheets I showed you, it can be a cork sheet. You will fill the joint and here they are giving aluminium angle. So you can give an aluminium angle or MS angle, sorry, it's MS angle. You can give an MS angle to cover the gap or you can give aluminium also. So with that, the gap is also sealed and this side also, this gap will not be seen abruptly. So if you see the joint is completely broke, we are not giving any continuous joint here. This building is completely straight and this building is ended over here. So this is the way they give expansion joints when you have T junction of wall. So this drawing, I hope everybody can understand. So this is your wall this side and you have a wall like this. This is in plan. And you have your plastering. If you see, I'll just zoom here. So even here you see, Here they have not given any gap between plaster and the angle. But here they have given a slight gap here, so that you can have movement. If this moves slightly also, there will be crack only in the joints and not in the structure. So that's why you can give some gap, like a groove you can give here, so that you can have a movement for the building. So these are again various kind of expansion joints in the buildings. So if you see, whatever toothing that you're giving, with that shape only they have given the expansion joint here. But again, top, they are given joint here, so that if there is any movement, it can still have space for it to dislocate. Again, here if you see, these are different materials again. So even for that they have given. So you have brick here, you have stone here, and this is the filling material they have filled. This will be again compressible material. Or you can use, sorry, this is a rainwater gutter. So this is the filling material that you give for the gap. Here the gap is little bit more, but normally it is around 20 to 30 mm that they give for expansion joint. So one is the T junction. The other one, if you have building in next to each other, there you can give these kind of joints, or you can give a straight joint for the expansion. Next is framed walls. Framed walls is nothing but the column structures. So in case of frame structure, it is necessary to provide two frames, one on either side of the expansion joint. The treatment of joints is similar to those given to the masonry wall expansion joint. Treatment will be similar. I'll just zoom this. If you see here, this is the slab section that I'm showing you, detail of slab. So this is slab, this is slab. You will give two different walls again, or if you have columns, you will give two different columns for the structure. And then this is the slab, this is the slab. You have a gap, even in the wall you should have the gap, or column also you should have the gap, and even here you should have the gap. So this is the water bar that I showed you. After that, again they have filled this joint with joint sealer, only the top portion, so that below water will not go. So you're taking extra precautions for it to protect. And here if you want, you can have a brick layer. If this is your terrace, in terrace portion you can have a brick layer, so that even more the water will not go inside, and still you have to provide DPC and terracing. And this is at the floor levels, where you have continuous floors, your RCC slab, and this is your wall, your lintel. Everything will be disconnected if you see. So the complete structure will be separated. You will have two columns here and here, because the load is not transferred to this side. So this will be separately taken care of with in respect to the load, and this side it will be taken care in respect to the load. So you will, wherever expansion joints are there in a framed structure, you require columns, two columns for it to separate each other, including foundation will be separated. So even in foundation, you will have a gap between the foundation. So again, here the detail is same. You have water bar, you have joint filler, and when you are laying the tile, you have to give a gap. You don't have to give a gap, but one side you have to overlap, so that it will have some movement when this there, so that the tile will not break. Okay. So you have to give a slight gap, or you have to end it here and or fill it with a filling material, so that the gap again is maintained. So you don't have, if you can see in many of the hospitals or schools where the length of the building is more, you will find this aluminum plate like this going on the walls also. In fact, even in our college, next to the staff room, we have these kind of expansion joint. When you come back to the college, you can observe it. You will give bolts. So when you're giving this bolt, one side will be screwed properly with round holes. The other side will be oval. Why oval? Because if there is a movement, even the plate can be moved. So this is the detail. It will continue in the wall. It will continue in the roof also, so that the gap is not seen. Here also you can give water bar if you want, if your lintel is more. Otherwise you can avoid it and continue with your this plating, AC sheet, or it can be aluminum sheet, something like that. So you get different materials in the market. So seeing your budget, you can choose whatever you want to give. So here they have given oval slot. So the oval slot will help for the movement to happen. Next is your roofing slab. The gap of the joint should be sealed with water bar and sealing compound. In order to prevent cracks in the masonry above or below the expansion joint, RCC or plain concrete bed block should be provided below the expansion joint in the slab. So these are two different kinds. So I'll zoom both. So if you see again, I showed you RCC slab, water bar here. You have AC sheet. This is again in the plan. And one side you can give tile. Now even the tile, if you see, there's a small gap here for the movement to happen. This is plastering. This is plastering. If it is an outer wall, you can give bitumen painting. So black color you will get. You will see in many places. So you can give bitumen painting so that it will act as a waterproofing also, and you will fill the joint with joint fillers. And this is one more where you can seal both sides. You have your water bar, you have joint filler, and you can seal it with sealant also on both sides. If both walls are exposed, for example, there are so many concrete walls that in today's construction we use. So if this is an internal wall, you can use sealant on both sides and avoid the water penetration. So this is extra cautious, maybe where water log is there, like underground pools and all. There these kind of joints will help more because both sides you are trying to seal. So this is in the slab level. So the next, again, this is one more kind of thing. I showed you AC sheet covering, right? So this is out of aluminium. So if you see here now, I'll just zoom here. This is a separate plate from here to here, and this is a separate C plate. So what happens with this is you have these grills, right? These will help the expansion movement to happen. So this is also provided in the roof. So instead of bolting, this is another technique where this is little expensive, but in buildings where gap is bit more, plates will not help. So these kind of, this is a separate C, and this is like slided into that. So this will allow movement of expansion to happen. So if you see both sides, so this is a C, this is a C. This can move actually. So when you're moving, this can move. So there is a gap here, right? So this will allow it to move. So that frills will, it is like a interlocking system. So it can, slight interlocking. So it can still have a, it won't have a very easy movement, but when there is a slight stress in the building, it can have the movement. So this is another kind of covering. Especially for flooring, this is more helpful. Next is at the terrace level. So I'll just zoom. So there are two kinds. First is this. So if you see, we have a Shalitex board here. So again, Shalitex board to fill that gap here. So this is the RCC beam. We are taking the beam little bit more up. This side also more up and making it like an F shape one side and L shape on the other side. This is the insulation. It can be waterproofing DPC or any other bitumen. You have a lot of waterproofing layers. So you can use any of the waterproofing treatment depending on the type of the building. Okay, that you will use. And then this is a Shalitex board that you are filling here. And here you're putting the slab. Now here, why this side it is not straight and why only on one side? This can be mirror image also. This it can be straight and this side it can be like an F shape. This board will allow the movement of this slab also. So if it is straight, it will cast it into this. It will be joined to this RCC. So if you see, there is a break in RCC. So if there is a movement, only one side it will move. So this is one way, and then they are giving waterproof. So even here, if you see, this is also a kind of joint. They're giving a small groove so that the water will not go backside or it will not go into the structure. Here also, if you see, there's a small groove. Here also small groove. So it will not let any water is coming on the roof, it will not come down. Okay. So this is where you on your terrace level you can give, this is one type. And this is another type. So here there is no water bar. So if you see, there is no water bar here. Directly they are giving the Shalitex board. It is like I showed you the bitumen board, right? So it is something like that, a tight material. Here this is one more type where you don't want Shalitex board or something. You can give water bar, you can give joint filler, and then you can construct two different walls and then put the concrete coping on top of it. Your terracing will still happen. This is like a water gutti so that the water will flow easily. It will not go inside the wall. And then you can provide DPC over here. This is if you know that your building has less expansion. For example, not much vibration will happen to the building. In that case, you can provide this kind of terrace level terrace level expansion joint. If you know where there is a nearby railway stations, vibrations will be there in the buildings. In that case, you can go for this because this will allow compression and contraction of the building. So this is more better in that place. And where if you don't, and this is expensive also because there is a lot of workmanship that goes. You have to make this straight, you have to make this C shape. So here a lot of scaffoldings and lot of workmanship happens. But here you just lay the slab and then brickwork. So where necessary, you have to go for this. Not everywhere it is necessary. As I told, where vibrations is more, where soil erosion happens, where loose soils are available, there these kind of structures will help. If the soil is hard, if very less, say for example, once in some ages earthquake is going to happen, there this kind of simple one is more helpful. Next, treatment using rubber gasket and aluminium sheet. So again, that same slab and beam, I'll just zoom. Same slab, this is with reinforcement, slab and beam. And you have a bituminous board and top of it you can give an aluminium sheet. So how is that aluminium sheet? Like this. So same thing. So again, one side you will have oval. So if you can see here, there's a gap here. So one side you can see small gaps here. So this is an oval bolt and here it will be proper round so that the movement can happen. So with this what happens, the water will not go inside the building. So this is aluminium sheet. Again, this is at the terrace level only. Both are terrace level, but here you are providing a wall in between. So to cross the terrace, if you have an open terrace, this will be like an obstruction. But here there is no obstruction, just that the lower level you will have this aluminium sheet. This is actually aluminium and MS sheet combined. So they'll bolt. So this is the expansion. If you see even in the walls, gap is there here. And then even in the roof, there is almost around 4 to 5 inch gap is there here. So there you can provide this kind of treatment. So we have almost come to the last one. So what is the conclusion? It is important that at the design stage, the designer recognizes the factor that may affect a building's performance and make provisions to accommodate any likely movement. So when you're designing a building, not necessarily every building should have expansion joint. Expansion joints are provided where the architect or designer or even the structural designer, in fact, mostly they work on it, they will tell you that this building, or say where earthquake prone zones are there, and where you're constructing more than say 40 to 50 feet length building, only there expansion joints are required. So just because these materials are available, you don't have to put it everywhere. Especially if it's a small residence, you will find very less expansion joints. But if it is a public building, for example, it can be your schools, your hospitals, your chowdhuries, your public spaces, theaters, malls, those kind of buildings require expansion joint because the length of the structure is very long. So you have to also provide the, so it's not necessary you have to give exact center also. You have to check the design where you can give. So at some junction of the room you can provide, or say some where room endings are there, there you can provide. You cannot provide in between the room. So you have to see that carefully. Adequate provision shall be made for expansion and contraction appropriate to service conditions of the structure. As I told you, where to provide, you will have to go through the plan thoroughly and then make the provision for it. Used with latest materials are more advantageous and provides faster workmanship as well as long life to expansion joint with watertight provision. So there are a lot of new materials in the market. So, and it is readily available. So it will reduce the workmanship. They don't have to take extra care in constructing it, and as well as it will be long lasting and watertight also. The expansion joint, one thing you have to make sure is it has to be watertight. You cannot allow water to enter because it will damage the building. At any point there will be seepage. So expansion joint should be very carefully covered. Giving gap is one thing and covering is another important thing when it comes to expansion joint. So that's it for today's class. So today's class is just about expansion joint. Wednesday I am taking class on construction joints. So in continuation to this, we will have construction joint. So expansion joints and construction joints is almost same chapter, but just that I wanted it to separate so that expansion joints is given only in long buildings where gappings are required. But construction joint can be in any building where say for example you are going to construct tomorrow or something, you require a joint for it. So in that case, construction joints and will be taken in the next class. So this is for the expansion joint. So you saw what is expansion joint. You saw what is, why it is required, what is the need of expansion joint. Then what are the materials you saw? Joint filler, ceiling compound and water bars. These are the three materials. And then treatment methods of expansion joint. One is your walls, slabs and terrace levels. So these are the treatment for expansion joints. That's it for today's class. So if anyone has any doubts, you can just ask me or you can just put in the chat. So can you allow the students to start? So I'll just unmute all.
ಕಾಯ್ತಾವ್ರೆ ಹೇಳೋದೇ ತಡ ಎಲ್ಲ ಈಗಂದ್ರೆ ಆನ್ ಸ್ಪಾಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೆಡಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ 15 ದಿವಸ.
Anybody has any doubts?
ಕ್ಯಾರಂ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೊತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಕ್ಯಾರಂ ಬೇಡ, ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ಮಿಂಟನ್.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask expansion joint types. Expansion joint, again, it itself is a type actually. There is no types of expansion joints. It itself is a type. You will just provide it at different places. One is your slab level, wall level, foundation level, and level. So there is no type of expansion joint. Either it is materials or it is the fillers that you are giving. No types. Apart from this, you have other types of joints in construction. It can be construction joints, which will be taken in the next class, which will have. Madam, can you please mail this PPT to my ID? Yeah, I can do that. Just copy. Anybody else? Any question?
करना चाहिए इसी क्लास में गलती करते
I can share it, but I need I need your mail ID.
आओ दे दो दूध
Yeah, Sandeep Goel. Yeah, I'll mail you. Anybody else?
दोपहर भी आया सी